Hello and welcome to episode 30 of Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Antony, and joining me as always, it's the other spark on the pod, it's Mr. Darren Whittam.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, Antony. How are you?
All right, as if I got... All right, okay, I've got Santa's ear. Can I have...
No, you can't. You've got too many things already.
Bugger off.
Finish your backlog and then I'll think about getting you a new game.
Oh, superb. So how have you been, sir?
I've been alright. Yeah, you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I have to ask, have you seen Star Wars?
It's the only thing, isn't it, that's happened in the week, really. Flipping heck. My goodness me. Yes, I've seen it. Yeah. So what did you think? Did you like it? Did it live up to expectations for yourself?
I think for me, it exceeded those expectations. The expectations I had going in when I saw it first on the Thursday. You know, I just sat there just before the music came on, or just before it started. I was like, please be good, and it was incredible. I mean, we're going to have a chat about it, aren't we? And kind of maybe release it as a bonus Christmas gift, as a bonus podcast. Totally spoilers, but so we won't go into any of it now. But for me, I just think, yeah, it was just incredible, and the funny thing about it was the other watches that I've seen, I've seen it a couple of times after that, it just gets better, and you pick out more things, and I could just talk forever about it.
yeah, me too. So I think that's definitely something that we've got to do, isn't it? Is do a Star Wars spoiler cast for The Force Awakens. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I tempered my expectations as much as I could, but my sort of Star Wars inner hype machine was at critical mass at point of seeing it, which was the Saturday morning at 9:15, and then sat through half an hour of stuff before the film. Crikey, they milked that, didn't they? Or they did at my cinema. There was loads of adverts and trailers. I was like, just get on with it. Why did I come at the time that they said? And then it started, and yeah, I thought it was just totally amazing. I'm awash in happiness and joy that, for me, yeah, I'm exactly like you. It exceeded my expectations. I absolutely love it. I've seen it twice. I wasn't sure if I could take Sam because it was a 12A, and I'm not sure what the A stands for anymore. I've forgotten, but I was worried that because it was a 12, it was like 12, and even if you're an adult accompanying a child younger than 12, that was it. They drew the line at 12. So first I watched it with my good lady wife, just so that. Well, first of all, we thought it would be a U at first, and it was so that we'd just make sure it'd be okay for Sam. And secondly, it was so that we saw it without being disturbed, because he's only nearly 5. So if he sort of got bored and wanted to leave, we didn't want to disturb other people that are watching it. So we would have to walk. So there was always the plan to watch it twice. And I was thinking, oh no, I can't take him in because he's 12. But then I asked at the counter after we'd seen it, and I thought, right, that's okay. I think Sam can handle the mild peril or whatever that's in it. I thought, there was no swearing and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, so I think that I'm going to make the call that I think this is okay for Sam to see. And I asked at the counter, and I said, it's 12A, does that mean my son can't go because he's like nearly 5? And she said it's just parents' discretion. So I was happy about that. So we went again and saw it the next day on Sunday as well.
Superb.
And I loved it the second time. I want to watch it again. It's all I can think of,
It really is. I just keep thinking of kind of little things that happen in there, and little kind of throwbacks, and it's really funny whenever you kind of someone else says they're going. There's I always kind of want to know what they kind of think about certain things, and it's just such it looks amazing as well. It looks incredible, and it's quite funny because I did watch all of I kind of sped through the first 3 trilogies, episode 1 to 3, and they kind of don't hold up very well, but 4, 5, and 6 seem to hold up well, and this is kind of that movie that kind of has that look and feel about it, and the effects are just incredible. J.J. Abrams is just a genius. He's done this with Star Trek, he's now done it with Star Wars, and there wasn't a moment in all of the watches that I've seen, there wasn't a moment where I was bored, dude. There wasn't a moment where I was like, oh yeah, this again. It was just, oh my god, the entire time, and to the point where it's quite interesting because Nicola had never, she kind of she kind of not gets confused, but she doesn't really understand what all the fuss is about with Star Wars, doesn't really understand the storyline. But she said for this one, she said it just totally made sense, and it was just from start to finish, made sense. She thought it was an awesome movie. We both kind of were a little bit teary after the first showing, because it was excellent. There was so much excitement, in the cinema, the LucasArts came up and everyone was cheering. When it finished, with directed by J.J. Abrams, everybody just, the cinema erupted. And you couldn't help but kind of get kind of taken away by their kind of excitement, and it was just fantastic. It was just so good, and like I say, we'll have a chat about it because there's lots of stuff that I've got to get out.
Yeah, me too. And one thing I'll say is on the second viewing, it was really good to sort of at certain points just to listen to your fellow viewers. There was a guy near me, and I could hear him at certain bits, and I was thinking, "Oh, this is a good bit," and he was like, "Yes," and things like that, and "Whoa," and stuff. And it was just fantastic to hear those reactions. But my cinema was a bit more reserved, unfortunately. But the good thing was on the Saturday morning one, there was only about 5 people in there.
Oh,
it was great, really? So I had it to myself. On the Sunday one, which was a bit later, 11:30. Then it was it was pretty full, which was weird. I thought it'd be full on the Saturday, but they were all a bit more quiet. I tried to enthuse them a little bit, like when it came on, with the rating screen. I sort of went yay like that. Well, not even as loud, a little bit to test the water, and there was a little bit of scattered clapping. But I wanted everyone to go yay, and at the end I wanted everyone to sort of give it a standing ovation, but nobody did. They just sort of sat there, and I didn't have the courage to try and lead it. But even the second time, man, I think I was just as swept away. Absolutely love it. And 1, 2, and 3 I'd written off long ago. This just makes them look even worse. And I think, like Nicola seems to say there, it stands alone as its own thing as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, it really does. I mean, obviously, if you've known about kind of Han Solo and Princess Leia, you know it kind of helps fill in the background. But I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to go into those movies because it does a very good starting point for anyone. If anyone just goes, "Oh, I don't know what Star Wars is," I'm just going to go here. This is a great starting point. And I loved it. On the first showing, it was fantastic seeing lots of kids. Maybe a little bit older than Sam. Fully dressed as Kylo Ren.
Oh, wow.
The lightsabers are plenty. It was just amazing. It's just such a great event. It was such a great cinema event, and now I guess we've got to look forward to, we have Rogue One next year, which is going to be kind of set before Star Wars, before New Hope, which will be fantastic, and then in 2017 we've then got Episode 8, which I just cannot wait for. And it's quite interesting because James Cameron has also said that Avatar is going to be out Christmas 2017 as well. I think he announced yesterday. So Christmas 2017, I think both our brains are going to explode.
Wow, all we need now is Prometheus 2 as well to come out.
Yes, yeah, that'll be it. We'll be just done for. But it looks like it's doing incredibly well at the box office.
Broke a few records, hasn't it?
Breaking all of the records. Yes, I think it's going to make all of the money.
And something, I'm right behind it, quite right. So, I'll tell you something. This was a bit weird. This took me aback a bit the other day. Yesterday, in fact. So I was playing lightsabers with Sam. And he was like, "Right, who am I, Daddy?" And I was like, what? Right. And I was going, "You can be whoever you want." He likes me to guess who he is, so I have to guess who he's imagining, which sometimes can take a while. Anyway, I said, "You could be Luke Skywalker." And he went, "Nah, he's old." And I was like, dun, 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 dun. Time stopped for a minute. And I was like, wow, that's weird. That makes me feel old. I said, "Are you Ray then?" And he went, "Yeah." And I was just like, "Oh man, that's so weird."
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I was like,
absolutely.
That's weird. It's weird, man. Weird. And
that's it, isn't it? Ray Finn, and then Poe as well. Poe Dameron, the X-wing fighter. These are the new characters from the new generation. These are our Wedge Antilles and our and our Han Solo and our Princess Leia.
Yeah, and it's weird, and it just sort of hold a mirror up to it. It's like, no, it's weird.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start feeling old soon.
yeah. But I can't wait. They penciled it in for May the 26th for the next one, 2017. And that's the worst thing about it is the wait, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It really is. So, I just can't wait. Like I say, I'm really stoked for Rogue One as well. That looks like it's going to be great. And I was quite surprised that we didn't get a teaser. I thought we were going to get a teaser for Rogue One just before the movie, but that never happened. But I'm sure we'll get one soon.
Was there a post-credit thing? Because I didn't wait till the end. Oh, good. No. I didn't waste my time then. Hooray!
No. Absolutely. On the second watch, I just kind of leant over to the guys next to me, and I was like, "There's no post credits. You can go," because they were like settling down, waiting for something to happen post credit, type thing. So, but no, it was fantastic, and I think I was worried about the internet spoiling everything, but I do have to say, well done, internet. It never got spoiled. And when I went back onto the internet on Thursday, there wasn't any sites or anybody on Twitter, no one on my feed that was spoiling it. So, I was quite impressed, and it shows that we can actually keep these things that we hold dear. We can actually keep them to ourselves.
Yeah, I saw a little article thing. I don't know if you saw it. It said some station in London was saying that it had a sign up on the underground system saying anybody dodging tickets will be told spoilers for Star Wars, and then brackets and get a fine. And I thought that was brilliant. There's some pictures of that going around. It's quite funny.
That's so cool. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but that's it. I haven't seen any spoilers in headlines. I've seen only a couple of things that's got things that we wonder about Star Wars bracket spoilers, but then you'd have to actually click on that, to get to the article or whatever. So yeah, it's been really good, hasn't it? I haven't seen anything either since I was reprieved and came out into the light after seeing it. And yeah, nothing out there to ruin people's fun so far. But I'd really recommend to people to see it quickly, if only not even just to avoid spoilers, just because it's absolutely fantastic.
Yes, absolutely indeed. And the other times that I've been, Nicola hasn't been with me, and I did say to her, I said, if you want to go and see it again, I said, then I'll happily go and see it another time. But I must admit, there's quite a few movies out of the cinema at the moment, but it's one of those films that I would I just let all the other ones go to kind of iTunes or Blu-ray, and I'll just watch Star Wars again and again.
Yeah.
And I have noticed, iTunes have already jumped on the hype train to a Sky, where you can start pre-ordering the digital download for Force Awakens.
Wow.
I was like, wow, it's just at the cinema and you can download, or you can, pre-order it already.
Yeah, it's all I want to do is go and see it. I just want to see it again right now. I could just quite happily, after this podcast, go to the cinema and watch it again easily, yeah.
I do think it will be a Blu-ray or a digital download that I would watch a lot, that I'll just have on all the time. Because I think when I got home on Saturday, there was a making of on Sky. There was like a behind the scenes, and they showed this really lengthy clip, and I just sat there going, I wish it was on my TV, because it just looked so good, it just looked really good at home. So I was just like, I can't wait for this to come out on like Blu-ray or iTunes or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose we're looking at maybe Christmas next year it'll come out.
No, I would say probably about May.
Do you think so?
Normally, yeah, they don't take that long, do they, now, to come out on Blu-ray? I would say we will probably get May. It may even come, maybe they might even do it for like May the 4th, but I would say about May time, we would definitely see that on Blu-ray.
Yeah, excellent. So I suppose we should talk about some games as well. Star Wars is sort of games, even though it's a film.
Yes, apologies for that. And we will have our own little kind of Star Wars spoiler podcast. But yeah, so what have you been playing this week?
Me, well, I'm playing, after coming out of Star Wars, I had a bit of an urge to play Star Wars Battlefront, I must say. I was just like, I want to play it now. So I've been playing a bit more Star Wars than I had been. And I've been playing the Fighter Squadron mode.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, because I was like, I want to be Poe. I want to be flying an X-Wing. Funnily, I thought I would dive onto my GameCube to destroy a few Death Stars on a Rogue Leader, but I haven't done that yet, but I'm still going to do that. But it just looks so fantastic. And I know I've said before that the controls are a bit dumbed down, but I've sort of got into it a little bit more, and I've been really enjoying it. It came first a couple of times out of many, so it's not that great an accolade. But yeah, once you get used to it, it's pretty amazing, the spectacle. It's like Top Gun, which I did actually think when I was watching the film. Some of the dogfights, I was like, this is kind of like Top Gun Star Wars sort of thing. And yeah, so you're just flying around and you're just having these big old dogfights. And once you sort of feel comfortable with the control and the control sort of clicks with you,
yeah,
it's just great fun, And it made me think that for all the moaning about the game being shallow on content, for me, this is great alternative mode to the infantry on foot side of things. And it made me feel a bit harsh. I was thinking, this is great. I'm quite happy spending a few hours on here. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the Fighter Squadron aspect. It's really cool. Though I haven't really been swapping ships because you get if you're being the Rebels, you get an X-wing or I think an A-wing fighter, and if you're the Galactic Empire, you get to be either a standard TIE fighter or a TIE interceptor. And I'm just sticking with the default choices at the moment. And when I have switched, I don't really see there's much difference. Maybe I'll stand corrected. I think maybe the A-wing's got more manoeuvrability, but between the two TIE fighters, I can't really see what the difference is. Maybe the TIE interceptor is a bit faster, but at speed, but slower at turning or something. I'm not really sure. So I've just been sticking with the defaults. But yeah, it's great fun, and I sort of learned that to shake people off, it seems to work if you sort of like dive down and fly along the surface, which is quite funny because in films and stuff they always say go low to avoid tracking. That's got nothing to do with it because it's swamped with human players that can see you, but it's just easier to sort of disappear down low when the fight's in the air. So what I've been doing, my new tactic at the moment is you have a bit of a battle, then go straight down as if you're going to do a suicide into the planet or into wherever you are, and then pull up at the last minute, scout around for a power up, and then go. Hopefully, you'll get one that's vehicle repair. Then back up into the fray, and it's just good fun. And just imagining that I'm in Star Wars. I'm in Star Wars.
That's fantastic. I mean, I must admit, it's still one of the modes that I haven't played a lot of because I still kind of struggle flying. And apologies, I have missed you a few times. It's so funny because I've got that Star Wars Battlefront companion app. I have it on my iPad, and every now and then it kind of pings and says, wife mate, he's playing Star Wars. I'm like, oh, I must get there. And I think by the time I do end up getting there or saving whatever I've been playing or whatever I'm doing, you've maybe kind of switched off, and I'm like, damn it, I keep missing you. So we should maybe try and over the Christmas break try and schedule some time, and you can take me under your wing, so to speak.
Yeah, we should, like starships in the night. We are.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just keep missing each other.
I've noticed you coming on as well on that app. It's quite good, isn't it? It's like Antony's on like insane hours of the morning, mate.
I do love my Star Wars.
Good man. I like to see it. So also,
I did that. I think because I'm off work at the moment. I on my Christmas break. I woke up. I think it was on Monday. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up and the first thing I was thinking, I'm going to go and game. So I just went down to the movie room and put my headphones on and started gaming. And I loved it. It was great.
Good man. Well, I do the same. I wake up and then. Once my mind starts working, I sort of like can't get to sleep, and I end up thinking, right, I can lie here and try and get to sleep for a half an hour, whatever it's going to be, just wasting time, or I can go down and play something. And that's what I've been doing. I came down the other morning at some ridiculous time, played Fallout for about an hour before anyone got up, and it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice.
It is. It's really lovely. I mean, I've been playing Star Wars, but get back to kind of what you've been playing. I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've just been playing the modes. I've gone for Walker Assault. I've been playing Supremacy. I've been playing Turning Point. They're the ones, the big battles I've been playing. And when you're watching the movie, did you think that there were a couple of beats in the movie that could easily be levels in Star Wars Battlefront?
Oh yeah, just a bit, yeah.
I'm sure there was a few.
I bet they're ready to go. I bet they're ready to go. I was expecting something, like I said on the last podcast, something to be released. I mean, they did a double XP weekend, didn't they, as a bit of a celebration? I thought they might bring out some sort of level, but they're not that silly. Let's wait till the hype builds up to even bigger fever pitch, and then we'll sell it. Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely some levels there. Yeah.
No, indeed. And I was just thinking, I was thinking the same. I was thinking over that weekend, I was thinking there's got to be an announcement now. They're going to say here you can play, Force Awakens, you can play the First Order Stormtroopers, and I just thought they would add those people into the mix, but it never happened. Like you say, maybe they're just waiting for this to die down, and then when it starts to dip, they'll maybe kind of release something then. So what else have you been playing?
Fallout 4, as usual, still plodding my way through that. I've actually decided to get back onto the story. This part of the story that I'm on, you've got to find an area on the map that isn't marked with a marker, which is quite refreshing in some ways, but not if you're trying to rush. So I sort of spent my time looking for this area, and I haven't found it yet, but I intend to. And then I might put some sort of determined time into the story and maybe finish it, because things are just building up. I've got a few things that I want to play. So Fallout 4, brilliant, fantastic game. Really love it. I think I put the most hours into this than any game this year, which is surprising. It's just surprising because it's not as if there's spectacle after spectacle in the game. It's just mainly plodding around, but I obviously must enjoy just plodding around and doing my own stuff in the Fallout Wasteland. Undertale, played a little bit more of that. Not enough really to comment on yet, but it's there on the list because it's there to tell me to play more Undertale.
Right.
And then I know I mentioned this in the news later, but I was playing a little bit of backwards compatibility stuff on the Xbox One. Braid, which I loved. I loved that game so much when it came out on 360. I love the soundtrack with it as well. I love the soundtrack so much that I remember I emailed the composer and asked her for the sheet music and had a little bit of a chat with her many years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I forget, you have to forgive me, but I can't remember her name just off the top of my head. And I was playing Doritos Crash Course as well. I don't know if you remember that free game, which is quite funny.
Yes.
It's a bit like...
It's kind of a bit like Wipeout.
Yeah, like Wipeout or Ninja Warrior or whatever. Yeah. It takes some skill, to get a fast time on it. For all its sort of cheeky looks and that, as if it doesn't matter, it's pretty hard. So, that's myself. What about you?
As I was saying, I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Battlefront at ridiculous times of the day. But I also, as part of kind of being off, it was time to tackle the stuff that I haven't got round to playing this year. So I finished, or especially the later part of the year, I finished Tales from the Borderlands. So the Telltale game, I finished that. I got to the finale of that, and that was amazing. That was absolutely fantastic. I think Tales from the Borderlands has to be one of my favourite Telltale games. I love The Walking Dead because it was just so fresh and so new. And as I've said many times on the pod before, I love the whole kind of Walking Dead franchise. But Tales from the Borderlands for me was funny. The action was fantastic. It was just really, really good. And the finale just really really hit all of the marks. And I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. I have to say though, that engine, oh god. At the end, there is the last episode of Tales from the Borderlands. There is right at the end. There's a big fight, as you'd expect at the end of any game. There was a big fight, and it chugged to the point where I was actually missing bits of the dialogue because it was just freezing and then just kind of skipping and missing scenes. And it was I almost turned it off at one point, but I was having so much fun because there's some really, I don't want to spoil it, but there's some really great moments, and I was having so much fun with it. But it was so frustrating because I was just missing everything. The character would about to do something, and then you'd probably miss about 4 or 5 scenes or frames, and then you'll be kind of rolled over in somewhere else, and it was really frustrating.
They need to sort that out, don't they? So that aside, though, is that the best Telltale game? That's what I'm led to believe from the critique.
Yep, that aside, I would say that was absolutely the best, because the other game that I've been playing is Game of Thrones, so I finished that as well. So I finished Game of Thrones, and I have to say that I think I tweeted about it yesterday, but Game of Thrones was the first Telltale game where your choices, the direction you went in, the things that you said, you really got the consequence of those. And when I finished Game of Thrones, I was just like, oh, I really messed up. Do you know what I mean? In typical Game of Thrones fashion, everyone's dead. I'm like, oh, I really messed up. And it's quite funny because I said, when I first started playing it on the podcast, that I was playing certain characters in certain ways, and I was being very, when I was a forester, I was being very kind of, I'm trying to protect my land, and when I was being the girl who was in King's Landing, Mia, I was trying to do the right thing, and it all went wrong.
Oh no.
It all went wrong. But I hope they don't make another one because I don't have any characters left. But Tales from the Borderlands, I have to say, playing those two back to back, Game of Thrones ended it. It was great, but it really was kind of like watching an episode of Game of Thrones. I did just kind of sit there going, oh, when I finished it. But
does it make you want to play it again to rectify where you went wrong? Would it be quite a different experience, do you feel, if you made some different choices?
Yeah, I think because right at the end it did tell me all of the choices that I made and where I kind of went where I went wrong, and I was thinking, oh, if only I'd have done that, and if I'd have done that, there were some points where I could have easily kind of put it back. It could have had a happy ending, I think, if I'd have made some different choices. But because I kind of got invested into those characters, and I really was like, no, that's how I'm going to play it. As a forester, I want to keep everybody else away from my land, and I was really kind of quite forthright in that way, but everyone died. But so it was, honestly, I was just horrified by the end of it. It was made me chuckle, but a fantastic game. But out of the two, Tales from the Borderlands, it makes your belly laugh. It makes your belly laugh. I don't think the consequences of my actions in Tales from the Borderlands weren't as horrific or as meaningful as the Game of Thrones, but they still had their, kind of, you did this, so you got this type thing at the end.
Yeah, cool. And does it say like so many % of people did this decision with you and things like that?
Yes, yeah, you always kind of get those, which was really cool. I mean, in Game of Thrones, I was definitely in the lower half of most of my decisions. Oh, were you?
Wow. Because I always try and be nice in games. I thought nice would be the top choice.
Well, in Tales from the Borderlands, definitely, the nice side of it, I was definitely kind of up there. But in Tales from the Borderlands, I was definitely in a kind of a lower spectrum of how I played that game.
So for Game of Thrones, then, is it a bit more grey, then? Is it more difficult to pick the nice path because it's more disguised?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there were some, like I say, there were some chances, like no spoilers, but there was kind of something where I could be free, or I could face a consequence, and I chose to face a consequence because I was being very forthright, and I was just like, so I took that path, and that kind of led me down the wrong path.
Right. Catalyst, a fork in the road, and took the wrong one.
Exactly. And I think they did present that time and time again. It was almost like the game was going, do you really want to go down this path? Do you really want to do that? And I was already, like I say, I was already kind of deeply invested in those characters.
Cool.
So yeah, I've been playing both of those, got both of those, finished both of those, removed them from my pins now, from Xbox, so they're done. And then I started playing, The Witcher 3, because Nicola was ready to play her Christmas game, so she kind of sat down and she was like, right, what have you got for me? So I was like, right, we've got all of these games, so what would you like to play? And The Witcher 3 was the one that I bought originally when The Witcher came out, but we'd actually never opened Nicola's version yet, because she's got a disc-based version. And so she started playing that, and I thought, because she had some questions about it, what I did was I restarted The Witcher 3. So I thought, I can't remember what I was doing, so I thought, and we started it together. So we spent a really nice day where we were on separate screens, separate Xboxes, and we were playing The Witcher. So we were kind of helping each other out with those kind of early tutorials, what are we doing, how do we find stuff, how do we level up, kind of questions. So we did that. Since then, Nicola has got incredibly hooked on The Witcher 3. She is like, the other day, I just saw her, I was playing games, she was still asleep, I was playing games, and suddenly this kind of flash went past me, and it was Nicola like going, can't talk, gotta play Witcher. She turned the TV on, made a cup of tea, she just sat there in her PJs kind of playing The Witcher. So she is absolutely into The Witcher at the moment and really enjoying it. And and so was I. I was sitting there looking at the vistas. I know we'd said about this way back, probably on like Pod 5 or something like that. Yeah. But it keeps stunning, and it just looks so stunning, and it keeps just kind of like jaw-dropping moments. But so I was playing The Witcher. Nicola's kind of a little bit further on than me, because I was exploring some things and doing that, and then Arkham Knight got an update, and and anyone who's been listening since our old podcast will remember that I stopped playing The Witcher because Arkham Knight came out, and it's happened again, Des.
No.
So Arkham Knight, they dropped a DLC called Season of Infamy, and Season of Infamy gives you Ra's al Ghul, it gives you Killer Croc, it gives you Mad Hatter, and it also gives you Mr. Freeze as new villains. So you got your mission wheel. If you tap RB, it takes you to a new mission wheel, and then you've got that. So it's probably about 3 or 4 hours long, and this is the last piece of DLC from that season pass. But it's fantastic. So I kind of equipped, one of the things that came out as well with this DLC was the 2008 Christian Bale Batman suit. So I equipped the Bale bat suit. Had the tumbler also from that movie, and I've just been so Nicola's still playing The Witcher, and I've gone off and started playing Arkham Knight because I just really wanted to kind of jump in. So I've since then switched back over to Batfleck, to the Batman, the Ben Affleck Batman for next year. But I'm having a ton of fun on the Arkham Knight. So with Witcher 3 and Arkham Knight, it feels like it's March again.
Wow. So you let me down, you jumped ship for me, and you've jumped ship for Nicola. You've gone off to the seductress again. Arkham Knight.
Absolutely. That game just keeps showing me a bit of thigh, and I'm off.
Lured you in, yeah, a bit like rubber-covered bat thigh. And that's it. You can't help yourself, you're off.
No.
It's a shame, because The Witcher's really good.
I mean, the great thing is, someone on Twitter said they finished the season of Infamy. It took 2.5 to 3 hours. So today, what I'm going to do is got some stuff to do, got some wrapping, things like that. Once I've done that, I'm just going to finish off season of Infamy, and then I'm going to go straight back to The Witcher before I forget about anything.
I'm a bit jealous, actually.
I've only got to the point where I'm fighting the Griffin, so I'm very early in.
Yeah, it's worth it. And the good thing is, because you waited all this time. You're getting the finished product. I had to go through many patches and changes as I played through it from day one. Having to juggle my inventory all the time because you couldn't store your stuff anywhere. If you dropped something, you lost it at first, and that was really sort of painful and not something that myself and pretty much any gamers in RPGs are happy with. But there's been loads of changes, so you can store stuff now, control changes, graphical changes, glitch fixes, so you're getting like the proper finished product. So yeah, it's good. And as you talked about it, then I was sort of visualising in my mind's eye the vistas, the sun shining on the rivers and standing there as it goes down, and the way that the colours just went from like orange to deep reds on the foliage and over the ripples of the streams and things. It's a beautiful game, and so many side quests. It's a great game. It's a great game. So it'd be great if you find the time to get through it, but I imagine you're going to have your distractions with Fallout 4 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was quite surprised. And the reason why I did Witcher 3 was just so I could help Nicola kind of get settled into a game, because she really needed that kind of distraction to kind of unwind from work. So I wanted to help her kind of get into it. But by doing that, I got hooked as well. So I'm like, sorry, Fallout. I'm sorry, Metal Gear Solid. The other games. Yeah, exactly. The other games I wanted to play, they're kind of, I looked at my backlog. I've got things like, Transformers. I've got a bit more Forza to play, and as Fallout and Metal Gear Solid. But I think The Witcher is definitely it kind of ticks all the boxes at the moment for me, and I think that's most important, isn't it? When you've got a while to just enjoy a bit of gaming.
Yeah, you can't feel forced to play. You want to play the game that you're in the mood for at the time, and if Witcher's your cup of tea at the moment, then that's fantastic. And as I say, I'm teeny tiny bit envious, because it's just an amazing world to get lost in.
It's really funny when we popped the disc in for Nicola's game, so I got it all ready for her while we were having lunch and stuff. There was a 16 gig patch that had to be downloaded, and as you say, that gave us all the new stuff. Then I went onto the store and downloaded all of the new things. There's extra quests and outfits and alternative outfits and things like that. So I just went in and I downloaded all those free stuff that we had from CD Projekt Red. Just downloaded all of that, and so yeah, Nicola really did get that kind of, I think it's up to version 1.11, and she really did get that kind of full experience when she first fired it up.
Oh, fantastic. Well, just before we move on, there's a game that's been appearing more and more in my sort of feeds that is making me think I'm going to have to get it. And if there's any other roguelike fans out there, there's a game coming out, or it's out now, called Nuclear Throne on PS4. Have you seen any of this in the news or reviews at the moment, Antony?
No, I haven't, no. What is it?
It's a top-down roguelike, so probably the closest comparison you could make would be something like Binding of Isaac or something like that. And so being a roguelike, it's the levels change each time you play, and it's very, very difficult, almost like the Dark Souls or even the Demon's Souls of roguelikes, if you like.
Right.
And yeah, I'm seeing more and more reviews for it that are saying that it's just really good. It's getting lots of high scores. It's getting like 9s and 10s and things.
Wow.
Well, not 10s, but it's getting a few 8s and 9s. And I'm just seeing more and more sort of good press about it. So it's on my list to have a look at. I haven't had time to have a look at it yet. But I just thought I'd mention, if there's any listeners out there that are looking for a new roguelike, got a PS4 and perhaps haven't heard of it, Nuclear Throne is going to be, I am sure, well worth a look. And it's certainly going to be on my games list soon. So I just thought I'd mention it because it's kind of on that list, and it's something that I want to remember, and I just thought it'd be worth mentioning.
Yeah, is that just PS4 or PS4 and Vita?
Just PS4 as far as I know at the moment, but it might be on Vita as well. I don't know if it's on Vita, because I haven't got a Vita. I never check. Let me have a quick look.
That's really cool. I mean, what we do is, I know you put a link in the show notes, so we'll stick that in our pod page, so people can have a look at it, because it's got quite a cool trailer, hasn't it?
Yeah,
so,
it's been out. It's been out on PC for ages as well.
It's PS3, PS Vita, and PlayStation 4.
Cool. All right, well, there we are. So it's been out on PC for a while. 10 out of 10 on Steam, 4.5 out of 5 on Metacritic. So it's got a good sort of pedigree there. So yeah, I'm thinking that could be my next Spelunky. I've got a feeling about it, so I thought I'd mention it. I'll mention it more when I played it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's called Nuclear Throne. Yeah,
Nuclear Throne. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And with that, let's start the news section. And in this week's news section, Rock Band finally gets that update for what we've all been waiting for. We have January's free games with gold, and in true Top of the Pops style, we count down to the Christmas #1. But first, with me, this was a bit of a fun one to start. This was over on Xbox, over on a good friend of the show, Major Nelson. They released your 2015 year in review. So it's a hyperlink, and I'll stick it in the show notes. It's a link for that you can click on, and what it does is it gives you your stats for 2015. So how much you've been playing, what you've been playing on Xbox, on Xbox Live, and I just thought it was awesome. It was just really cool. So I'll just kind of give you. Did you do this, Daz? Did you click on the link?
No, I'm tardy. I haven't done it, but I'm looking to do it now.
Click on the link. It's in the show notes. So what I've done, I've been a member since 2005. I think it was earlier than that, but I had a problem with my game tag. In 2015, I have spent 1,118 hours on Xbox Live.
Wow.
Wow, that's just so cool.
Can you hold your mouse over it? Does it give you in days like the Destiny one did?
No, this is just a nice kind of graphical, big squares, big cubes. My most active day was the 17th of September.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. My gamer score since January was, I have clocked up 10,345 gamer score.
Yeah.
My most played game is Destiny.
Not surprising. That's fair enough, isn't it?
I thought it'd be what's name? I thought it'd be Arkham Knight.
Oh, that's the point. Yeah, I forget you play that on Xbox. yeah, that's a fair point. But Destiny's even taken over that. But you had your resurgence with Taken King, didn't you?
I really did. I'll just have a look. Let's have a look. I'll just see if there's anything else. One of the nice things that they also had on here, a bit of a PR for them. So my most played games with gold title was Gears of War 3. And since January, I have clocked up $975 worth of free games with games of gold.
Wow. I'm the same, actually. I'm the same on that one since January. 975. So we've got them all, I presume.
I guess that's everybody, probably. And then I've spent 24 hours on Halo 5 Guardians.
Cool. I'm on 23.
And 37 hours on Forza Motorsport 6.
Yep.
14 hours on Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And just 11 hours on Tomb Raider.
Wow. That's about
cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really good. What did it say you've been with us since? What was your date?
Mine says 2005.
Oh, okay.
But I think... What did yours say?
Oh, 2004. Thought you were before me.
Yeah, no, me too. I kind of, like I say, I did have a problem with my gamer tag because I had it on an old Xbox, original Xbox, and then that original Xbox was also a US Xbox. And then when I got my 360, which was a UK 360, I tried to then transfer it over, and it wouldn't let me transfer over Chessman. So I was Chessman UK on Xbox for a while, and then they did a purge where they just released any of the gamer tags that hadn't been used for a couple of years, and I managed to buy back Chessman.
Brilliant.
It just meant so much. I hated that UK bit at the end.
I love this, I'm just looking at it now. Apologies for not having a look earlier. But this is fantastic. I really like it. My gaming hours place me in the top 10% of all Xbox players worldwide. It's quite good. 778 hours. Whew.
That's really fantastic. I like the fact that I've gone up kind of like 10,000 gamer score. I think I'm on something like about 80,000 at the moment. So I'm trying to get kind of higher. I have to say, one of my brother-in-law who is on Xbox Live, he's the fat duck. He reached 140,000 gamer score this week.
My goodness me.
Oh, no, I was impressed. I salute him. It was just like 140,000 gamer score. So I was very impressed.
Yeah, I read a thing once, and it's not something I've got prepared or anything, but there was a guy and he's got every achievement going or something, and it said it took him so many hours. It was a lot of hours. I was just like, wow. Every achievement for every game.
Yes. Wow. I think I remember the guy with the highest gamer score. He was, when the Xbox One came out, he was one of those guys that got a very early Xbox One.
That's it. That's probably where I read it, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of gave him lots of stuff, lots of chopskis for that.
Yeah, I wonder what I was doing on the 11th of November, because that's my most active day.
I know, it's really weird, isn't it? I kind of look at my calendar and go, what was I doing on the 17th of September?
It's weird. Our dates are not that long ago. It's weird, isn't it?
It is. It's very bizarre. I think it must be like Halo or something like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd just hit that. And what I'll do is I'll put the link in the show notes, just because I think it's quite a fun thing. If you've been playing Xbox this year, it's quite interesting to see kind of, how your time's been spent.
That really is a great link. Great of them to provide it, and great of you to find that as well and tell us about it, because it's just so interesting. It's cool, that.
It really is. You can really get lost in those stats, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, next piece of news is with you.
Yeah, this one's about Rock Band 4, and it looks like Harmonix has finally put into place the system for you to be able to get your Rock Band 3 export pack onto your Rock Band 4 game. Now, this has taken a long time for them to sort out, and it's slightly easier than expected. And slightly more expensive than probably expected as well. So we've covered it before that you've got to pay a fee to get these songs from your Rock Band 3 game. You've got to have exported the Rock Band 3 tracks already.
Right.
If you haven't done so, I'm pretty sure you can't do it anymore, which is a shame, but it's just licensing. So it costs $14.99. I'm not sure how that switches over to UK cash, whether it's just £14.99 or whether it's the equivalent, with the exchange rate. But you pay for the export pack, having already, you need to have already exported the tunes off Rock Band 3 previously. And then if you do that, and you're willing to pay the price, you start Rock Band 4, go to Get More Songs, and then there's a tab called Exports. And then there's an export pack for Rock Band 3. It'll verify you, and then you can download the pack. And that's it. Now, on the Xbox, you get the export pack, which is really nice. Well, it could be better, but it could be better. But you get all the songs in an export pack, and the reason I say that that's nice is because on PS4, you've got to find every single track of the 83 tracks.
Ouch.
Get them piecemeal. I mean, that's
horrible.
It's insane, isn't it? It's just. I looked through when they announced about this and having to pay for it. I did have a look through because I'd forgotten what the tracks were from Rock Band 3, and I did export them. And I had a look through all the tracks, and you know what I decided? I decided that there wasn't enough tracks that I wanted to justify the cost, and I just thought, right, if I just pick some songs that 10 songs, say at £1 at $1.59 or whatever they are, £1.59 each. So 10 songs is like the equivalent. I thought I'd rather have 10 that I want than 83 that probably only include about 5 that I want.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it. I thought I would, But I think the price of admission for something that you've already paid for me, is a little bit too high. Now, if I loved more of the songs, and I'm sure some people will love a lot more of the songs than me, then I'd be straight on this, because it's if you loved 70 or 60 of them, or even 50 of them, it's a great price. But for me, when I looked down the list, I was like, I think Rock Band 2 would be more important for me. And they're working on adding the export option for those as well, and that should be coming in January, and that'll be for Rock Band 2, and Lego Rock Band. Now, I've probably got some nice nostalgia about Rock Band 1 and 2 rather than 3. I wish they were doing Beatles, but they're just not doing that one. And I'll apply the same rule. I think I'll look at the list, and I'll add up the tunes that I like, and I'll see if it's more value to just buy that export pack for £15 or whatever, or if it would be better just for me to get the few tunes that I loved.
Yeah, that'd be, like you say, I mean, I'm with you on the Beatles there. It'd be really good to just kind of have a Beatles track just drop in every now and then. That would be fantastic when you're doing a set list and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'll have a look and see kind of what those songs are, and see if, exactly the same as you, see if it's worth the money. Because I know there was, when I was playing Rock Band 3, there was a group of songs that I just absolutely loved, that I just kept playing over and over again. And they really had that kind of feel-good factor when you were playing them. When you had the stereo, the surround sound was up loud and you were playing it, they really felt good. So I'll have a look and see. But I think your option is a good option, because at least, like you say, you're getting 10 songs that you really like. Yeah,
that you really love. For me, I was surprised. I thought the 83 for the $15 would by far be the best way to go. But when I read through them all, and this is just my silly rubbish music taste. I was just like, oh man, actually, it's not worth it for me. Now, the kicker to remember is that to even be eligible to pay the money to get them, you must have already exported the tunes from a previous Rock Band.
Right. Okay. I've done that from 1, 2, and Lego, because I did all of that into 3.
Right, yeah. Did you think? See, I did that as well. I put them all into 3. Now, I'm just looking at the spreadsheet from Harmonix. And it says, can I still export Rock Band 3? It says not yet. So it's looking like they're working on a way to be able to do that, unless this is an old spreadsheet that I'm looking at, because you'd think that you must be able to because of the story that I've just talked about. But Rock Band and Rock Band 2, you cannot export them anymore, and Lego Rock Band as well. But most people that would be in this situation would have done what you and I had done and put them all into Rock Band 3, because we didn't want to swap discs. You wanted to put them all into the one game, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rock Band 3 will be working, I'm sure. But yeah, I think you needed to have exported it all already. So it's interesting. I wish that it just, they've got a record, because when you go into the songs that you've bought, it says purchased. So I just don't understand why it can't just say, if there's a fee, all right, there's a fee, but it just go and gather everything that you've paid for before.
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of one click, which was kind of download everything you've owned before. It's similar to The Witcher when I was adding all those items to Nicola. I wish there was just one that was like, get all of the content packs, because I had to go through all of the different things going, download that, download the horse armor, so it would be nice in Rock Band if it was that, you could just go, all of the songs I own, give me, especially those ones you bought as well.
Yeah. If I get a new iPad, it just populates with all my apps.
Yes.
It doesn't try and charge me again, because there's an account, there's a system in place that shows that I bought this game or this app on this day. So yeah, it sort of goes me a little bit, but I'm sure Harmonix have tried to do it as simply as they can. So it must be I imagine it's been a massive pain for them to do, because if for it to be this complex, I think maybe it's the licensing that just makes everything a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm sure, when they were putting this game together, I'm sure this clunky, convoluted way that you have to do it now was not their kind of plan A.
Yeah, not their vision. I'm sure they haven't, I'm sure places don't release systems that are a convoluted, complex mess just to spite gamers.
Yeah, this will get on their nerves.
Yeah, this will show them.
I'm sure this is playing kind of D, E, or F.
Yeah, all rolled into one with Z in it and X in there as well.
Awesome. And then the next piece of news is also with you.
Oh, right, yeah, and that's a bit of information about Far Cry Primal. It's going to be pretty full on from the sound of things, because there's been a ESRB board rating summary for the game, and there's a few little snippets that have been announced about it from ASRB that just make it sound like it's going to be pretty adult, really. So some of the stuff they say is that, for instance, some sequences, and this is from the ASRB, some sequences require stealth kills in which enemies are stabbed in the head or slashed close up. This is just a picnic, really, for the world of gaming, isn't it? One cutscene depicts a character being held in a fire while screaming. Another depicts Takar, and this is the one that I was just like, oh, Takar tapping a hole in another character's skull as the man screams. I was like, ouch.
Wow, he's probably got a headache.
Some scenes depict corpses in various states of mutilation. Heads and torsos on spikes, sounds like the wasteland in Fallout. Ears cut off and kept as trophies. Headless bodies lying in pools of blood. So, not for the queasy.
No. It's like you say, it does sound like it's quite full on.
Yeah, it does. It also says that certain scenes and camera angles can depict male genitalia, undergarments, or in shadows. Some female characters are depicted topless. A handful of scenes depict characters engaged in sexual activity while clothed, and grunts and short moans can be heard, though no explicit details are seen. So yeah, it sounds like quite an adult game, really. Quite a lot going on in the prehistoric times.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the title kind of gives everything, it has to be like that, doesn't it? Because it was very primal, it was very basic. It was very kind of, so I guess they're kind of, depicting it the way that the way that history has told us that age was. Yeah, so the gloves are off. They're not wearing the kid gloves on this one. They're going to try and depict a sort of gritty, real environment as to how it was. And just in case people don't know, the ESRB is the Entertainment Software Rating Board that's used to depict the rating categories for games in the UK. Fantastic. And now, teased at the top when we were talking about it in true Top of the Pops style, for those of you that are old and in the UK. So we had, we've got our Christmas number one. So Christmas number one has been announced. Just a quick kind of mention that we did have some re-entries, or just outside the top 10 for things like Halo Guardians. That was number 13. Very interesting. Forza 6 was 14th, and Tomb Raider was 15th. So those kind of greatest games lineup really were 13th, 14th and 15th for Xbox. And again, this is just UK, because I think we've got a couple of a week or so until we get MPDs. And also we had a re-entry for the fantastic Rare Replay, and also for Batman Arkham Knight. They came in at number 31 and 35. But the top 10, it's quite a nice looking list. It's quite a lot of kind of annualized franchises. But we have Rainbow Six. Surprisingly, Rainbow Six was number 9, because I'm not hearing great things about that game. Grand Theft Auto is staying in there at number 8. Just Cause 3 was number 7. Assassin's Creed is number 6. A Minecraft Story Mode from Telltale is number 5. Fallout 4 is number 4. FIFA 16 is number 3. And then the all-important kind of top 2 spots. I'm surprised by this, because I thought it would be the other way around. But Star Wars Battlefront was in at number 2, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is the Christmas number 1 for UK.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it'd be the other way around as well. It's interesting, isn't it?
I really did. Maybe now, because with the films out, maybe people will start buying Battlefront now, maybe. So maybe like kind of next month it will be number 1. But the Christmas number 1 goes to, as it always does, to Call of Duty. So, it's interesting to see that franchise, even though the campaign is bonkers, that franchise
that's an understatement.
That's an understatement. It doesn't look like it's kind of, slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, which is a little bit of a shame, but good on Activision, fair play to them, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm hearing more and more dissension among the ranks of gamers as I read the feeds throughout the net about Call of Duty, and people seeming a bit disillusioned with it. We'll see what they do with the next one. But it's funny, isn't it, the games charts, because unlike, say, the music charts and the movie charts, where really once something loses its place, that's it, and it will drop steadily down.
Yes. The
games charts do jump about a bit, they can go down, but then they can resurge back up. And at the whims of the fickle gaming massive, I suppose, so you can get, like Call of Duty could drop down, like Star Wars has dropped down to 2, yes. And then that could go up, or Star Wars could drop down to 5, but then there could be some big sort of promotion or something it could go back to the top. It also depends on bundles as well, doesn't it? Because Call of Duty Black Ops, for instance, could have been I'm not sure, but it's probably being bundled with some of the bundles that are out there, I think is Star Wars. I don't know if I've seen any bundles with Star Wars added. Not that I'm looking all the time because I'm not really in the market for a new console.
Oh no, there is. There is a Star Wars themed PlayStation 4, isn't there, with Darth Vader on? And also, yeah, I mean, the thing I think to take into account here is that, again, kind of similar to the North American MPDs, this chart that we're looking at here, this doesn't take in digital sales. And on both Xbox and PlayStation 4, Star Wars Battlefront's been reduced to by 33% on both platforms. So it's, maybe people are buying it digital, where Call of Duty is still top price on both platforms. So I know Xbox is worthwhile, if you're a gold member, to keep an eye on Xbox, because they have got a large sale on at the moment, and they are discounting some really big titles as well. One of the things I did find interesting from this report was the toys, the Toys to Life games, and they had Lego Dimensions made it in was at number 17. Disney Infinity was at number 21, and Skylanders Superchargers was at 22. So it looks like out of those Toys for Life, the Lego Dimension seems to be kind of a tad more popular.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Maybe that could be. This is just a guess here, but because maybe the Lego one's got a bit more of an older fan base as well.
Yes.
So you've got your adults who are banging to Lego, getting hold of it as well and appreciate, and because of the licenses they've got along with that, it does seem to tap into that nostalgia base that a lot of people our age would have as well. So they're maybe getting a bit of a top and bottom market. They're getting the kids and the sort of more seasoned gamers, shall we say?
Yes.
Whereas. I can't see a lot of older gamers getting into Skylanders, really. There's not that nostalgic urge to do that.
No, I mean, it's worthwhile noting that Disney Infinity have a Force Awakens pack that came out the same day as the movie, and that includes, Rey, Poe, Finn, and Kylo Ren as well. So I'd expect to see that kind of rocket back up the charts maybe in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. And that it just changes all the time, and it's so key what you said there about that it doesn't include digital. It's a complete travesty, really. It makes it completely inaccurate.
It really does. It really does. You are just kind of just looking, you're just looking at those physical sales, and we really do now, because digital is becoming such a kind of mainstay now. I think we really do need to start including those in stats, because, like you say, it could be a completely different picture.
Yeah, the charts are primal. It's a prehistoric charts, archaic way of looking at it. We're looking at physical charts in a digital world. It's not right. And we've talked before. We covered it. There was in one of our previous podcasts a few weeks ago. We saw the two stories that sort of balanced and explained it. You had GameStop explaining to investors why the sales had dropped and why certain games that were expected to sell a lot didn't sell as many. Like it might have been Battlefront, it might have been Fallout, it might have been Tomb Raider. I can't remember exactly which one, but it was some, along that ilk. And then, so you got them saying to the investors, "Oh, we don't know what's happening. Obviously, people just aren't buying as many games at the moment." And then you had the other story in tandem with that said digital purchases of games are up by like 9% or 7% or something. And it's like, look, GameStop, that's your answer. Obviously, you're trying to skirt around it and not say it, but that's the truth. Digital's going up, physical sales are coming down, and so it's great to look at the charts because it gives us an indicator. But it seems so insane, doesn't it, not to couple these up? Surely you can get the stats black and white, isn't it? If maybe Sony or Microsoft don't want to release it, because I imagine it would come through them, wouldn't it?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Sony they're very tight on there. They do have a chart now on the PlayStation blog, but they are quite tight in releasing figures. We did have a figure this week from Sony saying that they've sold 57 million copies of Gran Turismo, across all of the franchises, which was quite an interesting number. But that's kind of very rare for Sony to do that kind of thing. But yeah, I think we do, as we are progressing this medium and as digital is becoming that kind of go-to, especially for us, and I think that is something that we need to be able to, if they could just put their figures in a pot, export them out in XML or something, you just kind of straight up there, and and then just join all of those figures together so we can kind of see exactly kind of how digital is changing that market.
Yeah, because it's sort of conjecture, really. We don't know. We sort of have an idea of the physical, but with the digital growing and being a massive part of the way that people consume the games these days. It does blur it, so you never know. Especially, well, as it grows on consoles, but PC is predominant, so it's very difficult to see what's going on PC.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So the next thing is with my good self, and that's just a quick one about some cheap games and some free games from Good Old Games, or Good Old Gaming, GOG.com, which is owned by CD Projekt Red, I believe. It's really good.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So it's good because that's their storefront, and I think that helps them remain independent as a publisher as well. Yeah, Good Old Gaming. And so, there's a game for Christmas, well, a sale for Christmas they've put on, and they're putting a game called Biomenace for free. So if you just sign up to goodoldgames.com, then you can get Biomenace for free, along with a few others. And I've joined them years and years ago because I wanted to play some old sort of retro games. And I got Beneath a Steel Sky for free, which I really enjoyed.
Right.
It was because I remember I wanted it on my Amiga, but I think my Amiga wasn't powerful enough, and it was on about 20 discs, this game. 23 3.5-inch floppy discs. And it was great to play. It was a point-and-click adventure. So if you want some retro nostalgia, then go to GOG.com. But as well as the free games, they've got 14 free games that you can get on the website. If you just, I think you've got to join to do that. So you've got Beneath the Steel Sky, Ultima 4, Law of the Temptress, for instance, and that, good classic games there, which is what the website's all about. But they're also offering up to 75% off every game from Bethesda catalogue.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So 75% off the classic Fallout games. So you could be playing Fallout 1 and 2, which were isometric top-down games, but think they were a little bit like Syndicate, if you remember that, the original Syndicate. Wolfenstein 3D and Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, Final Doom, all those kind of games, and even Elder Scrolls, so Morrowind and stuff. So if you fancy diving in there, you get 75% off, so you're going to be able to pick up some great adventures there for probably near enough a pittance, really. That sale's on till December the 29th. So, I just thought I'd mention that. It's a good website. It's got just loads of games. It's got Rogue Squadron for $9.99, for instance. I'm just having a quick look now. That's a good game. That's a good game. Loads of games, and they're all cheap.
So Good Old Games is PC only, yeah?
It is, yeah. So it's a PC store, yeah. So it's for the PC gamer, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
excellent stuff.
Well worth a look.
No, absolutely. And then for your console gamer, or more importantly, well, not more importantly, but more specifically, slip there, more specifically, your Xbox gamer, it's worthwhile noting we do have the January's games with gold. So Major Nelson got out kind of before Sony this month, and we have the January's games for gold. And with those games we have Killer Instinct Ultimate Edition or Ultra Edition. That's coming out. And that's a full price title. I think it's about kind of $40 in the US. So that's coming out as January as one of the games with gold. And then we also have a new game called Zeros. And Zeros is kind of a 2.5D side-scrolling kind of beat 'em up. There was a trailer, and I'll stick a link to Major's announcement on the podcast notes, but there was a trailer for it, and it looked quite good. It looked like it could be quite fun. There's two characters. One of the guys, he kind of looks like Mr. Fantastic from the Incredibles, and he just looks like big chin. Looks a bit like Captain Quark. So we've got those two. So we've got Killer Instinct Season 1 Ultra Edition. That's going to be free from the 1st of January to the 31st of January, and then Zeros is going to be free on Xbox One from January 16th to February the 15th. Over on Xbox 360, and don't forget, both of these titles will be backwards compatible. We have Dirt Showdown. So the Dirt series, we've got Dirt Showdown, and then we also have Deus Ex Human Revolution as well. So they're both going to be free from... so Dirt Showdown is January the 1st to the 15th, and Deus Ex is the 16th to the 31st. So if you haven't played Deus Ex, which was an amazing game, and I bet it kind of still stands up and looks quite nice on the backwards compatibility on Xbox One, both those games are going to be free this month.
Wow, yeah, that's good. I love Deus Ex. That's a great game. It's a really good game.
And also, as a extra little Christmas present from Xbox, we also have a demo from Rise of the Tomb Raider. So anyone who hasn't jumped in or is sitting on the fence or maybe hanging by a cliff about the new Tomb Raider game, there is a demo that is now available. Now, this demo is 21 gig, so it's quite a hefty demo, but it's Rise of the Tomb Raider demo available now. Are you going to dabble, sir, or are you going to wait for your full game at Christmas?
Yeah, when I saw the headline, my instant reaction was to grab it now. But yeah, and then I remembered that hopefully Father Christmas will be bringing that for me. As there's only 2 more sleeps to go, I'm just going to wait and relax and sort of wallow in my backlog, I think, and then I'll enjoy that on Christmas Day, along with maybe Until Dawn as well. So yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, it's good to see a demo come out. I wonder.
Yes.
I wonder what the motivation for that is. I wonder if it... Because we have seen some headlines saying that it didn't sell as well as expected. So I wonder if that's why the demo was appeared.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe they just have... maybe they planned it that they would let the hype kind of bubble down, and then they would just say, right, now we'll release it. And don't forget, especially over Christmas, there's going to be a lot of people getting new Xboxes. So, if you fire up your Xbox for the first time, log in, and there is your Tomb Raider. You haven't got the Tomb Raider pack, and you want to see kind of how gorgeous your Xbox can be. There's a demo there sitting there waiting for you. So it's nicely placed, isn't it? In the time of it, because like I say, we're going to have a lot of new Xboxes coming onto the system over Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if it changes its position in the charts. It'd be interesting to see where if Tomb Raider shifts after that demo's come out. If you see Tomb Raider move up, I'm sure there's some statistics somewhere about whether demos equal more sales or if they don't. I was presuming that a demo equaled a lull in sales because of the fact that we don't get them so much anymore. I was thinking, there must be a business reason behind it, but it'd be interesting to see some kind of black and white statistics on that, wouldn't it?
Indeed. I mean, I only think there's ever been a couple of demos where sometimes I see a demo as, I'm really going to get this game, I just want to kind of have a quick dabble, see what it's like. I remember back on the kind of 360 days, I remember there was probably a handful of demos where I played a demo and I was like, wow, I'm so glad I didn't waste that money, and I can't even remember what those games were, but I remember thinking, oh, that was bad, and then removing. But, and likewise, I think Condemned, I played the original Condemned on the Xbox 360, played the demo, and back then I was wishing for a digital future then, because if I could have, after that demo, just say, and you can download it now, click on a button and just download that game, I would have done. And instead I just kind of reached for my PC and downloaded it and ordered it from Amazon. But I loved that demo, and that game was amazing, and the darkness and stuff like that. So demos have definitely kind of made me purchase a few games that maybe I was sitting on the fence about. But as I say, in the other hand, they've also kind of turned me off a few as well.
Yeah, and I think I'm about the same. It's like a little bit, I used to treat it, if there's no demo, it'd almost be like not being an embargo that's on release date. So it's kind of like saying, yeah, we're too scared for people to review it. Because the game's so bad, and the same if there was no demo, because the lack of a demo used to be the exception rather than the rule. They're sort of even the playing field now, because there's pretty much no demos except a few sporadic ones, so you can't really tell. Maybe they did it that way. So you'd say, oh, there's no demo for this, it's not going to be good, apart from, say, games like GTA. But then the embargo thing is the same for them as well. They'll leave that till release, but there's certain exceptions that prove the rule, let's say. So it's interesting.
Absolutely. If you think back in the day, when we used to have like kind of official Xbox magazine and official PlayStation magazine, they'd both come with a demo disc, and you would have like 5 or 6 games, wouldn't you? So every month you would get this bevy of demos, and I used to love going through those discs, and even sometimes games I wasn't even interested in. It was just nice just to kind of have a quick go, even if it was just for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it might broaden your horizons, because you might find a genre that you wouldn't have paid for to get involved with, but you might find that you like it. So that was always the idea, wasn't it? Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, so the next thing with my good self is basically there's been an announcement of the newest backwards compatibility titles on Xbox One. So these are the games that are on 360 that you can now play on your Xbox One. There's quite a few. I will read them all, actually. So Braid, which I was talked about before. I've been playing that a little bit because I bought it on my 360, so it was there available for me to play. And, you know, this is a case in point. Braid, I got the demo and I bought the game. I'd never heard of it, but I saw the demo because I used to religiously check pretty much every night if there was new demos on my 360. Whenever I was on the 360, I used to go to the demos area, and I'd get every demo. So for my whole time on the 360, I probably maybe towards the end, as things started, more and more stuff started to come out. Maybe I had a little less time. I don't know, but pretty much I got every demo that ever came out, and played it, you know, and judged it and decided whether to get it or not. And Braid won me over with its artistic style and its music that was in the demo. The demo didn't actually show you the full sort of breadth of the game, the time travel aspects really, that the game became. But I thought it was a Mario clone with watercolours and good music. Little did I realise that it was like a time-shifting puzzle game as well, and I absolutely loved it. So anyway, Braid, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Doritos Crash Course, which also I've been playing a little bit of. It's good fun, and that's free. That was free at the time, so anyone can get that. Fable 3, Halo Reach, Hydro Thunder, Iron Brigade. That's something I'm not familiar with that one. Kane and Lynch 2, brilliant. Motocross Madness, Miss Pac-Man, Peggle, Portal Still Alive, Spelunky. Now that's a result. I've got Spelunky achievements to do now on my Xbox 360. Hooray!
Wow!
So I might start playing it on that. Splosion Man. That's a good game.
Yep.
Ticket to Ride and Zuma's Revenge.
Yeah, fantastic.
So quite a few, you know, dropping, and they're all available now. They're all available now.
That's just fantastic. There's some really good ones there. Like I say, Fable 3, quite a standout. Halo Reach, that was the only one that's not available in the Master Chief Collection, so that's quite nice to have that, you know, on Xbox One. So I guess if you're an Xbox One gamer and you never played the 360, you played Xbox One, you could then just go onto the store, buy that game, and then it would be available on your Xbox One via backwards compatibility, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it at the moment. Phil Spencer has mentioned that they're working on trying to just like sort of tie it with the store, so you don't have to go sort of jump through those hoops. It's not many hoops. So I think that's something that it's on the list that they're working on. But yeah, you can go on there and then purchase it, and then it'll be available on your Xbox One. But yeah, there's some good titles there. 16 in all. I think that's pretty good, and it was great because I switched on my Xbox, and there for me personally there was Braid, Crash Course, Peggle, Miss Pac-Man, and Spelunky and Ticket to Ride, all just there. And I'd forgotten that I'd even bought some of them. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a nice present.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I did notice the other day that Plants vs. Zombies is available as well, so that's there. So I just need to upload some of my saves to the cloud, I think.
Yeah, you see, I've got that now as well, which is great, because I only played it on iOS, but I think I must have bought it. Or I think maybe it became free one day. I don't know. But I've got that as well.
I think it was Games with Gold.
Was it? Right, okay, cool. So I downloaded that, but I never played it on the 360, so maybe I just got it. And there it was, it just appeared one day, and I was really happy. Am I mistaken in thinking that your good lady wife, Nicola, was really good at Plants vs. Zombies? Like, really good.
She was like number 2 in the world at one point on the Xbox 360.
Wow!
She was in there as, I think there was some unlimited mode on it. Kind of just an ongoing mode, and she played that one day, and she was like number 2 or number 1, and then it's quite funny because even to this day she constantly gets pings from people like friends requests because of it, I think.
That's brilliant. And is she proud of that, or is she just like, ain't no thing, so I just enjoyed the game, I don't care about that? Or is she like, yes, I was number 2, I'm pretty good?
No, she was uber proud. I think the two things that she really loved was, one was that, and the other one was that she got the Seriously 2.0 achievement in Gears of War, and that is, if you know what that is, it's just kind of like killing 250,000 enemies or something, and she just kind of did that. She was doing some grinding way back then, and and she really did like that kind of, she wears that achievement with a pride, and Plants vs. Zombies as well.
Wow, proper gaming girl. That's excellent.
Absolutely.
Nice one. Well, now it's time for my VR desk. So
it needs a theme tune, doesn't it? It needs a theme tune.
It does. Did you see me trying? So.
I did. And now over to Darren's VR desk.
So
that's Terminator.
There's been a yeah. That'd be quite good, actually. You know, it is the future. So yeah, there's been a few pieces of news. I'll try not to delay too long on them because us Sparks need a Christmas too, don't we, Antony?
I've got some mince pies that they won't make themselves.
I know. The smell of that brandy sauce. So yeah, I've got a few things to say. There was a link that I think, or a piece of news that you told me about earlier, actually, Antony, saying that Oculus pre-orders are going to start early January. So that's quite interesting, just to kick off with.
Tech Radar said that they're going to, I think, is it Palmer Luckey with Oculus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Palmer Luckey said that they're going to start right at the start of the new year. Now, obviously, we do have the Consumer Electronics Show. The CES is in Vegas, I think, on about the 13th of January. So I would expect some of those things to be announced then. But maybe we're going over Christmas, we'll get a proper release date and a price for Oculus.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Really, really interesting. So that's cool. Price for Oculus, released date for Oculus, I presume, if you're going to pre-order it. It's first quarter anyway for Oculus. The other thing is, this is just a quick one really, but the producer of Ace Combat 7, which was revealed at, which one was it? At the PlayStation Experience.
Yes.
As being a VR game. It's going to be a PS4, a normal game as well, but it's going to be a VR game. So the producer, Kazutoki Kono, has said basically that VR is the real way, sort of the way that they imagined that would be the best way of experiencing Ace Combat 7. So he said, by setting it inside a real cockpit, PSVR will give players the exact image and memory of becoming a pilot. So there'll be an experience playing inside PSVR. That's going to be the true memory that they would want to give you. That's sort of from their artistic point of view. That's what they wanted to give you. He said that they wanted to give a VR perspective, even from the age of the PS2. So they've always had that on mind. So for this group, being able to actually overstep the bounds of the 2D and get into VR must be really fulfilling for them.
Wow, fantastic!
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I think games where you sat in a cockpit are going to fit really well. So Elite Dangerous, like a Star Wars Starfighter game. Wow, that'd be cool.
I tell you what was really interesting. I saw there was an interview with Kind of Funny, the Kind of Funny guys at the PlayStation Experience. They did an interview with Shuhei Yoshida, and they did it in this kind of press area. And the interesting thing was, if you look at the background of this interview, they have some pods set up, some gaming pods, and one of them has Drive Club. Actually, two of them have Drive Club, and then you notice that there's a guy with a PlayStation VR headset on, and he's moving his head around, and so is the camera in Drive Club.
Wow.
And I was just like, this is why I want this for Forza, because I play that in car mode. I would love to just be so immersed in the car like that. I would play driving games all the time if that, I'd go over to Drive Club and buy Drive Club if that comes out as a PlayStation VR edition. That it looked really cool. There was, like I say, there's an interview, like I say, the interview with Greg Miller, Shuhei Yoshida, in the background you kind of get. It's quite funny because in that whole interview, you're getting that. You also see Brian Michael Bendis walk past, and he's a guy over at Marvel. He writes a lot of the great comic books. And there was also someone else as well. And I was just like, I kind of tweeted to Greg Miller. I was like, very interesting. You see all this, and he just kind of went, yep, and then he just kind of liked the tweet, so which was quite funny. So Drive Club seems to be like it's going to be a PlayStation VR title as well.
Wow, yeah, it definitely does. That's really cool, and it'll fit again, won't it? Because you sort of sat there, you're there in the car, so it's going to be fantastic for games like that. There's also been some information on Microsoft HoloLens, and so VR Focus published an article that they got hands-on with it on a beta device, which is interesting. It's really cool. Now, they've changed the phrase from augmented reality that I quite like to mixed reality. So, I like to use the phrase dumbed down, but mixed reality is what they're talking about with the HoloLens, and that's where you wear the glasses and they're transparent, so you can look through them as you're looking through normal glasses, but what the glass enables is an augmentation or an overlay on the glass that can overlay the digital onto the real time environment that you're in. So you're in a real room, and then the glass will enable you to position digital apps within your real environment. For instance, they showed like Minecraft working at E3. Minecraft was basically built upon a coffee table. The coffee table was real in the room, and then you said build map, and the Minecraft map built on top of the real coffee table. And so there'll be games like that, it's going to open up quite a lot of opportunities. Microsoft say the primary focus of this at the moment is not really for gaming. It's going to be more of a business tool. So we don't need to get too excited about games as yet, but it seems to be building up some momentum anyway. And vrfocus.com, they got their hands on a beta, and they've written a report about it, and I put the link in the show notes because it's quite interesting what they have to say. They say it's a comfortable device, HMD, head-mounted device. It rests nicely on the bridge of your nose. They say it's improved a lot since the last time they used it. Say that because all environments are different, when you wear it, you sort of look around the environment and it maps the environment. And so they did that really quickly. And once it's done that, you can place, I don't know, like windows that you use on your PC on walls and things like that. And it knows very quickly about the mapping of the room you're in for you to be able to do that. So that sounds pretty cool. But they do mention as well the problem that we've discussed before, that we found out about, that unlike on the demos where the perception is that once you're wearing this glass that the overlay of the digital is over the whole room, that your whole field of vision, the field of view is actually not encompassing your whole field of view, but it's actually within a rectangle, a specific rectangle within your field of view. So they do mention that, and they say that as good as it seems, and the improvements that they've seen on this beta model of the HoloLens hardware, they say that by far the weakest aspect of it is the field of view that's offered. So it's interesting that they're coming out saying it again. They say that the size of it is like a widescreen format display in the centre of your vision. It doesn't cover the full extent of the display of the HMD, which we knew, but it still isn't for the full extent yet. And once you're out of that boundary, out of that sweet spot, if you like, there's no augmentation or there's no mixed reality that can be used outside of that rectangle. So once you move that rectangle, say you've got I don't know what it could be, say you've got a weather app on the wall, showing you dynamic weather, and that's a digital thing that you've placed on the physical with the help of the head-mounted device. Once you move, if you craned your neck round, if you just tilted away, once it comes out of the sweet spot rectangle in the middle of your field of vision that can accentuate or that can make the mixed reality work, you won't see it anymore, and it jars the experience somewhat. They say that even though that sounds disappointing, and they say it definitely is, they say it's a lot wider than many earlier reports had us believe. So that's quite interesting. And
I bet with anything like VR, I bet it's quite. You have to kind of put it on before you really appreciate it, because for me, kind of the sound of that, I'm like, oh, that just sounds like a real wasted opportunity, and this could be absolutely fantastic. But I bet once you've got it on, I bet it would just kind of, it really lends itself, and you probably start using it with that in mind.
Yeah, but you get used to where the area is, so you just
absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. They say that there's no aspects of ratio available to it to sort of define that sweet spot, that widescreen bit, but they say that their best guess would be, they're saying that it's a 16:9 rectangle aspect across probably 60% of your field of view. So they're saying it's a lot wider than was expected from earlier reports. So that's good. That's really good news. And if it gets wider each time,
exactly, this is version 1, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, it's not, it's beta at the moment.
It's not even that, is it?
Yeah, it's not even that. Yeah. So it's good. I mean, they'll obviously know that that's not good enough, and I'm sure they'll be going to great lengths to expand that field of view. The letdown came, I think, because they didn't publicise it at time of release, and it was a bit deceptive the way that they sold it. But yeah, it's another exciting piece of VR kit that I think is going to be quite amazing. And if you look up HoloLens and see some of the videos they've got of, for instance, superimposing the surface of Mars in your living room, and you've been able to walk around that, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So it's coming along nicely, and improvements are being made. So that's good news. It's positive news. So that's HoloLens, and also the final bit of the VR desk today is about HTC Vive. Now, I've been flip-flopping a little bit because I think it was the last podcast I was saying, it's been delayed, and PSVR's price of admission is so much easier and cheaper because I've already got a PS4, etc. And I was thinking maybe I'll knock the HTC Vive on the head, but then there's this announcement, and this is about. Did you send me this one, Antony?
I did indeed. Yes, that HTC Vive delay. Yeah,
yeah. I'm very much in your debt for this because I never saw this around, and this is awesome. So Antony furnished me with this information that it's been delayed until April, as far as we're aware. But the reason is, from HTC CEO Cher Wang, said it's been pushed back for a very, very big technological breakthrough. Now, she hasn't expanded on that, but she said, and this is more good news, she said the breakthrough will be revealed at CES in January. Now, there's a few things I wanted to say here. First of all, that's great news. Secondly, we should probably think about what that breakthrough could be. But thirdly, remember that I said that there was a report from PlayStation VR, and it was from Dr. Richard Marks, and he was saying that the VR players were all working together. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was interesting because these are saying that they're going to make this is going to be a big announcement, and this is in CES in January, and and then we're getting the Oculus announcement in January, or we're hoping that that's going to come at CES. I'm thinking CES is going to be quite pivotal, and maybe they're all going to come out with their information in January, all together. Maybe if they're all working together, they've decided, you know what, we'll just give them all the information together. That's what I'm hoping that this could mean.
Right.
Sort of, these different stories all tying together, and CES sort of coming up, and the releases all being at the moment first quarter or first half of 2016. So yeah.
So should we book our flights to Vegas now then?
Oh wow, man.
Because for me the CES is going to be finally kind of after 2 years of owning a 4K TV, we're finally going to get those 4K Blu-ray discs and players and things like that. So CES this year, I mean, it always is kind of one of those kind of gadget highlights for me because I love all the news that comes out of it. But this is going to be a good one, especially if they're coupling in VR as well. Yeah. So I'm hyper excited, and that's great about the 4K stuff. That's really good. I'm sort of waiting for my next projector. I'd like a 4K projector, but I'm just waiting for more content. So that'd be great. And if they're going to make that step up, and there's going to be more prolific content to use. But what do you think? I was scratching my head. What do you think? To say it, this isn't small. Very, very big technological breakthrough from HTC. What do you think that could be? The only thing I thought is it can't be was a haptic suit. So, you put the suit on. They had those at PlayStation Experience, didn't they?
Yeah, I suppose they did, yeah. But that, so you can feel in VR.
What about cordless?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be very good. And long battery life. But that's not... Would you say that's a very, very big technological breakthrough?
I think cordless would be. Imagine that then you have the freedom to move around, with head tracking.
This is designed to move around as well, so a wire is cumbersome. You could trip over it and all the rest of it.
Well, exactly. You imagine you got something plugged into your PlayStation 4, and then you kind of, you crash in Drive Club, you throw your head back, and suddenly your PS4 is being ripped off its shelf because you can't see it, So maybe cordless would be that. I mean, that for me would be a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they've shrunk it. Maybe they've worked out that they can work without being coupled with a PC. Somehow they've got the tech actually in the visor, in the device itself. That'd be pretty cool. So you don't need a PC as well. You can just get the unit as a standalone. I don't think that will happen either. But
HTC Vive coupled with Microsoft for an Xbox release.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah. Wow, so many things. It would be interesting to find out. We don't have that long to wait, but I'm very keen to hear what this very, very big technological breakthrough is. I'm really excited, and it makes me think, I've sort of gone back to HTC Vive. Plus, I think that'll be out before PSVR, because if they do stick to April, we sort of think that PSVR will be out around about June with No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you get a HTC Vive, I am coming to your house to film the unboxing.
Wow. If I get an HTC Vive, man, we should definitely because it's worth the journey, I think.
I just want to see your face as you kind of. Well, I probably won't see your face because then you put it on. But could it be that there? I guess the screens are already a decent resolution, aren't they? They're already kind of 1080p in each eye or whatever.
Yeah, so I think they are. They've got that. Yeah.
It can't be that. It has to be something like cordless, or like you say, it could be platform agnostic, or I just don't know.
I don't know what it could be because it seems
Christmas out the way now. Just get Christmas out of the way. I want to get that on CES.
Thanks so much for sending me that because it really cheered me up to read it because I hadn't seen it. That's such a big piece of news. I can't believe I hadn't seen it.
Do you just think that a lot of our life being kind of into our hobbies and into all these kind of new stuff, a lot of our life is kind of waiting for the next thing, isn't it? I came out of Star Wars going, God, that was awesome. Can't wait for March now for Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, absolutely. We spend half our time the majority of our time wishing and waiting and wishing our lives away for the next thing. And it's interesting once you've got it, how quickly you sort of like, it's like almost instant. It's like, I've got that now. It is for me. It's like, I've got The Witcher. It's like, right, what's next? I was looking forward to The Witcher for ages. Star Wars came out of Star Wars. I was like, oh, that was the best thing ever. I was like, when's the next one? Well, May 2017. I was like, oh no. That's too long to wait, but I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, but absolutely. Excuse me. We're always looking forward to the next thing, aren't we?
Absolutely. And then the final piece of news is with you, sir.
Ah, yes. So this piece of news is about... It's really weird. So
make me chuckle.
A Russian guy... Siberian gamer is suing the makers of Fallout 4 because he's lost his job and his wife's left him because he played too much Fallout 4. He played it for 3 weeks straight, apparently.
Wow!
So he got the game and he played it for 21 days straight. He started ringing up. He was just got really. He got so. It's just weird, isn't it? It's like he got so.
The first couple of days at work, you can go. I've got a bit of a cold. I've got a bit of a sniffle. I had a day off when I was ill, and I played a bit of Fallout. But it's just like 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks, man, of constant playing. I can't imagine ringing up work because I was that into a game. I tell you what, I kind of wouldn't mind that feeling again. Something that. Maybe it's just from childhood of loving something that much, but then maybe I'd feel that I was ill if I was that sort of, just in love with the game, So it'd be weird. I think I got my priorities wrong, but there's a quote from him. He said that if he knew that the game would have become so addictive, he would have become a lot more wary of it. I would not have bought it, he says, or I would have left it until I was on holiday or until the New Year holidays. That's a statement from the guy. Well, obviously you can't just turn it off and wait. So it's Bethesda's fault. So he's suing.
Wow.
He's suing Bethesda Game Studios and the Russian localization firm for the massive sum. And this is where it gets even weirder. His wife and job are worth...
Yeah, what's his wife worth?
They're worth 500,000 rubles, which is about $7,000, which is about £4,000.
Sounds like an in-game currency in Zelda, doesn't it?
It does.
Does he want to open a chest to get all this money?
Maybe he wants it in rupees. So what's that about?
Oh my god! Hopefully this is just kind of ridiculous and it's got no legs at all and will be thrown out instantly.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's so funny. I love how he's put a price on his wife. Going, well, he's probably,
ultimate revenge. He's done this just to let her know. He's like, how can I get her? She's not speaking to me. How can I get her to know that I only value her? I only value her at £4,000. He's like, I know. I'll tell everybody that I'll sue. And that's the way that she'll read the news about it. But I just can't imagine.
Maybe a stroganoff wasn't up to kind of normal his mum's standard.
Yeah, and he was planning this thing for a long time, and then Fallout 4 came along, and it was the perfect excuse. He just couldn't help but play it.
Yes, wow. I get hooked on games. I've had a week off when games have come out. All of that stuff. But wow, there is always a time where you can just kind of put it down. The great thing I think about games is that if you put a game down and you're still thinking about it, that for me is a good sign of a good game. That you go to work and you focus on work, but in the back of your head you're still thinking, can't wait to get home, or if I do this, I've done that with so many games, but wow, just to lose kind of... how long has he been playing it?
21 days. 21 days straight,
wow.
apparently.
Holy moly. So in all of that, he lost his job and his wife left him in 21 days.
Yeah, and but he wants recompense, man. He wants £4,000 for it, for his trouble.
Do you think he started the main quest yet?
Pardon?
Do you think he started the main quest yet?
He might be like me, and he's only done one main quest. But it's not his vault. Did you like that one?
I did. Oh my god! And with that, I think that's about it for this Christmas episode of the Gamers of the Lost Spark. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget, you can keep up with us at gamersoftheLostSpark.com. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're at Lost Spark Pod, and on YouTube as well. You can also, if you have a PS4, you can find us in that PlayStation 4 community, which is Gamers of Lost Spark, where at the moment our question is, what's your game of the year? What's your favourite game so far this year? Darren, where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can get me as Wythamator on PS4, Xbox One and Twitch, Daz a Gamer on YouTube, and at Daz Whittam on Twitter.
And for me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live. I'm PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network and Chessman UK on Twitter. If you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoflostspark.com. Also, if you're feeling generous, please leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us get noticed and get onto that main page. So all that remains to say is have a fantastic Christmas, everyone. And we'll be back next week for our Game of the Year show. But until then, happy holidays, everybody, and Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Have a great one, guys. Bye. Jingle bells, PS4 sells, the Xbox fell away. Oh, what fun it is to game when there's great games on the way. Oh, jingle bells, the Wii U smells, but the NX is on the way. Oh, what fun it is to game so many great titles, hooray. Gaming through the year in a non-stop gaming way. From one fantastic game to another triple A. Ho ho ho, Witcher 3 was great. Star Wars you had to see. And Arkham Knight was awesome sauce unless you had
PC.
Oh, jingle bells, PS4 sells, the Xbox fell away. Oh, what fun it is to game when there's great games on the way. Oh, jingle bells, the Wii U smells, but the NX is on the way. Oh, what fun it is to game from the Sparks. Happy holiday. Yay! Merry Christmas.
Awesome sauce.
Oh, what fun it is to...
Go on.
I thought you'd stop singing.
No, you got to commit. Come on, man.
Right, okay, that's it.